Llama Arts has blessed us with another animated horror story. So you guys know I'm gonna react the out of this. It's called The Roommate Animated and it's 10 freaking minutes long. So this is gonna be a long ass story. I have no idea what to expect. All we know is it's called The Roommate, so it's probably gonna be a horror story about a roommate. Cause you know, it's called The Roommate. It's kinda obvious here. I'm not sure why I had to point that out. I'm sure you guys could have figured that out yourself. So horror story. Before we get into it, make sure you leave a like on this video right now, subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any other videos. While you're at it, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at DarkHornsTV and on TikTok Darko Mode. All the links should be down below in the description. Now let's just get right into the video. I've had some bad roommates.
Looking for a new roommate is always a daunting task. Even though you interview and take the time to get to know that person, you don't truly find out who they are until you start living with them.
That's true.
I had begun searching for a roommate after I decided to leave my current residency. I was contacted a couple of hours after placing an ad on the Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
The message read,
"Hey Chris, I'll be moving out of my current apartment this August and I'm looking to room with someone new, as my roommates are moving to California this year."
Okay, let's try to predict what's gonna happen in this video. Wanna bet she turns out to be a psycho or something like that. She tries to kill him in his sleep. Or she's like a scammer. She steals all his furniture. That would be scary.
I'm 27 and I'm currently going to school. When I'm not at school, I enjoy hiking and watching movies. I also apprentice at a taxidermy shop on the days I don't have class.
Okay, no, I take that back. So she apprentices at a taxidermy shop. So that taxidermy stuff, it's gonna bite him in the butt. 100%. There's gonna be some creepy taxidermied bodies, human bodies. That's my guess right now. Also, I'm not sure anybody asked for this, Lunaire, if that's your name. So, like, I'm not sure why you're telling me all this stuff. I don't really care.
Hope that's not weird. It's always been a fun hobby of mine. Anyway, I'm
Wait,
looking
what?
forward to hearing back
Making taxidermy is a hobby? Red flag.
from you. Have a great day, Lunaire.
My first and most obvious reaction after reading the message was to check her profile. She was of medium height, had long, messy blonde hair and green eyes.
She's kind of cute.
In her profile picture, I saw her standing with a man and a woman shoulder to shoulder. They each adorned goofy grins and held up peace signs. Under the photo, the caption read, "Love my roommates."
Okay, this is so obvious. It's so obvious what she's gonna do. She's going to make a picture with him after he's taxidermied, because those people in that freaking picture, they are taxidermied, guys. 100%.
I smiled to myself and decided to send her a message back. The sun beat down on us as we hoisted various objects to the second floor of our new apartment. It took us a couple days to get everything out of the moving trucks and into our new place, but as soon as we did, a wave of relief washed over our sweat-drenched and sore bodies.
Yo, I shipped this.
After a couple more hours of rearranging, we each grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on the porch. We reminisced about old 90s cartoons and what video games we obsessed over as kids. And as the sun started to set,
he's getting in.
I truly felt relaxed and confident that things were going to work out. A week later, I started a new job for a construction company that was owned by a good friend of mine. As I was getting ready, I heard the front door swing open.
Here it
I
goes.
walked into the living room to see Lunaire and her friend David sliding in a large box. "What you got there?"
Her old roommates?
I asked. Through a strained grunt, she replied,
I bought a freezer to store some of the animals I'm planning on using in my taxidermy work. I hope that's alright.
I was obviously
Red flag.
hesitant at first, as there was no mention of this happening in the first place, but I eventually accepted and returned to my room
Very
to
red
continue
flag.
getting ready for work. I came home at around 9 p.m. after having a couple of beers with friends and noticed that the freezer was nestled snugly in the lower part of the pantry.
Uh-oh.
A low hum could be heard reverberating off of the inner walls. I was curious to see what was inside,
Oh,
but
don't.
didn't want to intrude on
Don't.
Lunaire's business.
Never ever look for answers to a question that you don't want the answers of, or something like that. Probably said something wrong there. What I was trying to say, don't be nosy. You'll regret it. That's good advice, right? Some other good advice is leave a like right now on this video, or else you will become taxidermied in your sleep.
So I went into my room and changed into more comfortable clothing.
Okay, so he didn't
After
check what's in
changing,
there.
I came back out into the kitchen and started making a sandwich. I opened the fridge and grabbed what I needed. As I turned around, I stubbed my toe on the edge of the island countertop and let out a long, exasperated grunt.
Ooh.
Through my frustration, I
Oh my
slammed
God.
the fridge door shut and checked my toe to see if there was any bleeding. As I raised my head back up, I was greeted by a shadowy figure.
Oh no.
Lunaire was standing in the doorway leading to her room.
Is
The
she
darkness
taxidermy?
behind her almost seemed to envelop her.
Is everything okay?
She said in a deadpan tone. Shit, yeah, I'm sorry. I just slammed my toe into the corner of the countertop as I was making a sandwich. I hope I didn't wake you.
You did, bro.
It's fine.
Ugh.
She said,
Yeah, she's
in
on
the same
something.
deflated tone as before. She then turned around and walked back into the darkness of her room. I could tell that she was pissed, so I quietly made my sandwich and retreated back to my room
Oh,
as
that
well,
sandwich looks so
only
good, though.
hearing the low hum from the freezer as I closed my door. I had the next day off, so I was able to sleep in a little longer than usual. When I finally emerged from my room, I walked into the kitchen to make breakfast. As I opened the refrigerator, I noticed that the light wasn't turning on and there was a lack of cold air escaping from
He's
inside.
gonna use the freezer.
I turned around and flipped the light switch to confirm my suspicion. Sure enough, the power was out. Damn it, I muttered under my breath. I walked over to Lunaire's room and knocked on her door to tell her about the power outage if she didn't already know, but there was no answer. I then remembered that she had classes that day and probably wasn't
What's he
home.
gonna do?
I walked back to the kitchen and past the pantry. As I did, I slipped on the floor but was able to catch myself on the countertop. What the? I angrily exclaimed.
It's blood.
As I looked down at the floor, trying to figure out what I had slipped on.
Oh
It was
no.
blood.
Oh
It had
no.
started to leak from the corner of the freezer and pool onto the floor.
Don't open it, bro.
I quickly tried
Don't.
to open the freezer to find
get
out the
nosy
cause
now.
of the viscous liquid, but then I noticed that it had a padlock attached to it. I don't remember seeing that before. I ran out to my car and grabbed my toolbox from the back seat.
Bruh,
I
don't
approached
get
the freezer and
nosy.
set my tools down on the nearby countertop. I then pulled out a small pair of bolt cutters and snapped through the metal of the padlock. It fell to
Why?
the ground with a
Why?
large thud. I creaked open the top of the freezer and was greeted with a putrid stench that permeated my nostrils. I quickly pinched my nose and walked away gagging in
Good.
response. I guess I should have realized that was gonna happen, I muttered to myself in between gags. After gaining my composure, I grabbed some gloves from under the sink and started
Why is
taking
he so
inventory.
nosy?
I could see a couple of dead birds and plastic bags wedged into the corners of the freezer. I took each bag out and set them in the trash can nearby. That's when I noticed that the blood was coming from the corner of the larger black bag. I don't know why, but I decided to open the top of the bag and peer inside. I was greeted by large, milky white eyes, a swollen black tongue surrounded by cracked and bloated lips, and the matted hair of a human head.
She's still kind of cute.
I swiftly dropped the bag and fell backwards onto the floor. My breathing had ceased to exist, and I grabbed the trash can next to me and expelled my disgust into it. I
Nice.
then ran out the door.
Come on, guys. Did anybody expect something different to happen? Like, it was kind of obvious that this was gonna happen, right? Or am I just a genius? Let me know down below in the comment section if you knew this was gonna happen. And while you're down there, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And hey, comment hashtag Darknet if you're gonna finish this whole video. Now let's see how the hell his roommate is gonna try to get away with this.
Got into my car and called the police.
Okay, he called the police, good.
As I sat in the interrogation room with a blanket over my
Wait,
shoulders,
he's safe!
I couldn't help but think about the face I'd seen. It looked so familiar. That's when it finally hit me.
Her roommates.
I pulled out my phone and looked at Lunaire's profile picture. It was her old roommate.
Told you!
The one she said was moving to California.
Was so obvious.
When the detective entered the room, she started the questioning process, asking me if I started noticing any weird behavioral occurrences around the apartment. Yeah, I stubbed my toe the other day and she creepily stood in the doorway. It seemed like she was pissed, but for some reason I had a strange feeling like she was concerned about something. That's when I connected the dots. She didn't come out into the kitchen because she heard me stub my toe.
What?
She came out into the kitchen because she thought I slammed the freezer instead of the fridge. A cold sweat started to form on my forehead as my surroundings became blurred. I could hear a low whine slowly starting to cover up the words of concern from the detective. As my vision started to clear, I could see another officer enter the room and whisper something into her ear as he handed her a piece of paper. "Do you have somewhere you could stay at?" she asked. "I mean, I was planning on staying with my parents. They live about 30 minutes outside of town."
Did she?
"Okay," she paused. "Listen, I don't want to worry you, but we found this picture inside of your apartment."
His parents?
She slid the piece of paper across the table, and I immediately felt like someone kicked me in the chest. The head of Lunaire's other roommate sat on the chair.
What?
In the background, scrawled on the wall in blood, read,
Why would she?
"Love my roommates."
Why would she show this to him?
All of them.
What? Doesn't even seem like that. Doesn't seem like something you would show a victim of a crime. Like, oh, I don't want to worry you, but here's a picture of a decapitated head in your room. Nothing to worry about. Heh. Just a picture of a decapitated in your room. Okay, so that was the story. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Once again, you can check out Llama Arts down below in the description. They have a bunch of awesome animations just like this, so make sure you check it out. You'll be doing yourself a huge service by checking them out. Really hope you enjoyed this video once again, and if you can't get enough of these videos, check out the ones on your screen right now by clicking here, and hopefully until next time, Dark signing out.